Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast, where we interview everyone from James Beard award-winning chefs to local mixologists, winemakers, breweries, and so much more. We've got an awesome episode lined up for you today. But before we get into that, head to atasteofaz.com so you can subscribe to our quarterly magazine and email newsletter to find all of the best places to eat and drink around town. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Now let's get into the episode.
Just do what I tell you to do.
That sounds good. I'm used to that.
All right, we're here in Queen Creek,
Arizona. Yeah.
Queen Creek, Arizona. Beautiful town. How big is Queen Creek? How many people are here?
I think it's like 70,000, right?
70,000?
80,000. It's
Dang.
big. It's a big city.
Right. It's kind of fucking
Huge.
A lot more than there used to be.
Yeah. It's growing.
Because of Old Ellsworth Brewing.
We'll take a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
Probably
10
the olive
people.
mill too.
Yeah. I love it. Well, it's been a while since I've had these gentlemen on the podcast. Chris, she didn't want to join for this one. I understand. I didn't give her a heads up that it was a video. So
Yeah.
she was in full on work regalia.
Work attire, yes.
Yeah. Right. You guys are too.
This is how we look every day.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how you dress up too.
Yeah, got the sanitizer burns on the finger
Yeah.
already. I
That's
was like,
good
why is that
stuff.
burn? I went, oh yeah, I just touched sanitizer.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah. Keeps you honest, right?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm really excited to get you guys back on the podcast. Actually, you guys have never been on this podcast. You guys were on Tap.az.
Yep.
But this is more food focused, I guess we could say.
More food focused.
But it's a perfect fit because your guys' food is badass, man.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I haven't been here for, it's been several months. So I don't know if the menu has changed. Do you guys still have the build your own poutine?
Yeah, it's
All right, we're
pick
good
your
then.
poutine. So that's always there. That's a,
Yeah, it's a
staple of
staple.
ours.
So how's it been, man? I mean, you guys are veterans in this craft beer scene here. It's 2017, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, just 7 years.
Yeah.
Yep. We've been open for 7 years. You know, beer program's going great. Like, we don't really distribute, so you kind of have to come here to get our beers, which is beneficial for us, you know, because we don't have to travel all over the valley and drop off kegs. But,
Yeah.
you know, we usually have like a couple guest taps. We have our own beers on, and then the food program. I mean, we have a new head of our kitchen. She has been with us for, what's Jen been here? Like 2 years?
Probably. Yeah.
2 years. She's been here about two and a half years. We did a couple changes to the menu. So we added an actual ribeye sandwich that has a ribeye steak on it.
Oh, so
we'll
not like
probably-
shaved ribeye.
No, it's like a
Gotcha.
full steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we cut
I
those
love it.
in house. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
It's always nice to go back and make a ribeye and a brew day, you know,
Yeah.
good lunch. And then, what else we add? We changed our egg rolls. So now we have like a Southwest egg roll, like
Okay.
a green chili pork. We always have good stuff. We have weekly specials too. So they get to kind of experiment every week.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice to have that freedom.
Yeah.
How do they determine like just the ingredients you have? Do your vendors like say, hey, here's some things that we got that's, you know, new, exciting?
Some cooks will offer up ideas, and then they come out. It's kind of funny because we actually sit back here and work, but they'll kind of come out and be like, "What do you think about this?" We'll be like, "No." So it's like our own little survivor for specials. We're like,
Yeah.
"No, that's off the island. Get something else." Yeah. So
Vote it off.
Yeah.
Beat it.
Yeah. And then by Thursday, we're snacking on something that they made that's usually fantastic and amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Good
good.
stuff.
That's good. You guys do that too, right? Because I would say one of the problems I would have is like I would have a hard time saying no to anything. Right?
Yeah.
Even if I'm like, that wasn't that good, but no, that's great. Great job, guys.
Yeah.
Where I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing, right? Like what
Yeah.
you guys do, that's fantastic because you guys are trying to create the best product for your customer.
Vet it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vet the dishes a little bit. Yeah. And we use those for menu tests too. So I think we have a couple things on the menu that were actually specials before, like the ribeye sandwich is one of them. Now that I think about it, but there's a bistro burger that's on the menu that was a special that we ran a couple different times. So if
Okay.
it's really successful, it ends up on the menu.
Yeah.
So kind of the customers vote about the new changes of the menu.
I
That's
like
how
that.
it works.
Food and drink wise, beer too.
For what?
For like, do they tell you when your beer sucks?
I would hope so. Yeah. I put that out there for anybody anyway. I'm like, give
better
that
not.
feedback because it's,
Yeah.
100% all honesty. 'Cause I'm
For
like,
sure.
if you do over something's missing or, hey, this one's kind of weird.
Yeah.
This is a different color. Is this the right beer for that? And you go, yeah, this one, nope.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Nice.
Yeah. Everybody has an opinion,
For sure.
It's always fun to entertain those two.
Yeah. Well, and I've learned over the years too, there's a difference between a bad beer and a beer you don't like. Right.
For sure.
Some people,
Oh, yeah.
I don't like this. Why? Oh, it's so hoppy. I'm like, well, it's fucking double dry hopped and it's,
Yeah.
it's got hops floating in it. So
This
Yeah, I do
beer
that all the
sucked.
time.
I hate
Yeah.
IPAs.
But this is well made, but it's not for me.
yeah,
Or
for sure.
kind of helps me, change your perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
If it's well made, you go, oh, it's not for me, but maybe it could be.
Yeah.
So I figured, I think food's the same way. Like I just keep trying the same thing. Like I hate beans.
Yeah.
I'm like any kind of bean, get it out of my face.
Yeah.
But I keep trying it every now and then, whether it's in chili or not, just to see, hey, maybe my taste buds go, hey man, we like it now. And
Yeah.
so I like that way with kimchi for the longest time and
Heck yeah.
sushi. It was a sushi the longest time. I was always,
Sushi.
eh.
Sushi.
And then I think we were at JBF or CBC and Ortega at Uncle Bear's was like, we'll go to Hankin for sushi. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting out of this one. So went and tried it and just, I think it's one of those like immersion things too, where it was like, can't get away from it, try it. And then now I love it.
Yeah.
So at one point it clicked for you or it switched. Yeah.
Yeah. And beer's the same way. Like even for like certain hops or, he tries to pull me out of certain things where he's like, hey, let's try this. And I'll be like, nah. And then I'll think about it a little bit and I'll be like, okay. I'm like, well, shit, let's just go for it. And and then sometimes it works out and sometimes it don't. But I said, that's, I guess that's how you grow sometimes.
Yeah, we have an experiment going on right now. What's this one? The Peachy Cool Arrow. It's a hazy
We're gonna throw some
IPA
peaches.
with peach in it.
Oh, interesting. What?
Yeah. That was one of those. Why not? I mean, why not?
Yeah, he was like, let's do a peach IPA. And I was like,
Shit.
okay.
Put some fruit in it. Like we are the peach capital of Arizona, thanks to Schnepp Farms, right?
Oh, that
Yeah.
is. That's
So-
true. Yeah.
Might as well do some peachy shit.
Dude, that's a beer name right there.
Peachy
Might as
shit.
well do some peachy shit. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe your
Maybe
version's
we'll
better.
change it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one's pretty solid.
I don't know if you want shit in the name of your beer.
yeah,
But,
probably.
But
Some people get away with it.
yeah, for sure.
Paperback has fuck on there on one of them.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped and was like, how did they get that past
Yeah.
TTB? And that it's
Like
on
actual,
there.
like it's not like asterisk
No,
out or
it's
anything.
full on FUCK.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. Wow.
It's
I
crazy.
know Pizza Toots from Drecker too. That was one that, I mean, that's not bad, but it's like you're associating beer with a fart,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Pizza Toots.
but it seemed to work.
Against the Grain out of Tennessee, they have brown note.
Right.
It's a brown ale, and the guy on the can is in tighty whities, and has shit stains on it. I remember listening to a podcast
That's
about it,
awesome.
and they were like, "How'd you get that past TTB?" And they were like, "Well, we just shot for the stars and got the moon." They said you just ask for the most ridiculous thing, and then you end up getting what you want.
Yeah.
But there's like little poop marks all over it, and
Yeah.
it's pretty funny. And I think that's what allows. Maybe they just get lax about it too.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, whatever, dude. Just
Yeah.
go with that.
Yeah,
That's
just
their
run.
50th submission of it. Well, let's back up a little bit, right? So you guys opened in 2017. And for people who hadn't listened to the Tap That AZ podcast, what created this? Like, why did you guys decide to do a brewery?
Well, we lived in Alaska for a while. A lot of people don't know that, but so while we were in Alaska, we would just grab like different kinds of beer and go fishing off the pier in this really small town called Skagway. Excuse me. But so we kind of created a passion for like different types of craft beer because
Okay.
we'd grab a different sixer, and then from that we started home brewing. And then Ryan and I would just trade off. He'd homebrew in his garage. I'd homebrew in my garage. We just swap recipes back and forth and equipment and ideas. And then after a while, we were like, well, fuck it. Well, let's open a brewery.
Yeah.
So then it happened. That's the short story. It gets a lot longer.
I like that you've gotten short, right? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of hard sometimes. Like you
Yeah.
got all this stuff. How do you? But you nailed it, man.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
there's a lot of nuances to that. Queen Creek was our first choice to open
Okay.
a brewery.
So how
For
did you How did you go from Arizona or from Alaska to Arizona? What brought you guys down this way?
It was just kind of an employment thing, I guess. We used to go from Alaska to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. We worked in the jewelry business then, and the economy kind of took a dive, and the stores closed. So we came back to Arizona and got regular jobs, and then
Wait, the jewelry job wasn't a regular job. Like, what kind of jewelry job is this? Like,
it was
sounds
in a
like some,
cruise ship port.
Yeah.
Like we worked in a cruise ship port. So if you ever go on a cruise and you meet one of those jewelry salesmen, that was us.
Guys
Well,
are
Ryan-
hustling, like you open the jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sold watches on the pier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, Ryan
Yeah.
Ryan did native art sales in
Okay.
Platte, but he actually ran
I did jewelry sometimes too.
he
Yeah.
ran 3 stores in Cabo by himself.
Okay. Nice, man.
Pretty impressive
Yeah.
for what were you fucking 20 years old then or 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Foreign country by himself.
How do you guys get into that? I mean, it's like I thought that was the beginning of it. Now we have to back up a little. Like,
Yeah.
how do you get a job like in those? That seems like a pretty badass job for somebody your guys' age.
Yeah. So Ryan and Chris's mom have a friend who works in jewelry manufacturing.
Okay.
So he opened a store in Alaska and he was like, hey, do you guys want to, or he asked her, Cheryl, if she
My
knew
mom.
anybody that would go to Alaska.
Yeah.
And she first she said yes. And then she asked Chris and Chris said, no fucking way. And
From where? Where
then-
were you guys at?
here in
Oh, so
Arizona,
you guys
yeah.
were in Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, and then finally she asked me, and I was like, "Hell yeah, when do we leave?" And then we all kind of went from there.
Yeah, I was 15 when we started, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
like my parents just split, and my mom's like, "Hey, you want to go to Alaska?" And I was like, "Sure." Like I really don't even remember like what we were doing. I
Yeah.
was just like, "Sure, I'll go. I have nothing better to
Yeah.
do in the summer." And
Yeah.
ended up doing that for almost 10 years. That
Almost
8,
10
9,
years,
something
yeah.
like that.
Nine, definitely 9.5 years. It was a good time. Everybody's like, "Holy shit, you were in Alaska and Cabo San Lucas? That must have been amazing." You're like, "Well, yeah, but we worked like 14, 16-hour days." So
Yeah.
I mean, when we were open, we were open. So we got used to long hours really quick. But it was definitely a good time.
And it trained you for this industry for those long hours, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Then we
Well,
were like, let's open our own brewery. We'll make our own hours and we'll
Yeah.
barely work. That's not true.
No, it's not.
see all the talking like this too. Because when I was 15, like it was before I turned 18, it was like my absolute worst nightmare. I was the quietest kid ever.
Yeah.
Would
Very
never
shy,
talk.
very
Yeah,
shy.
super shy. I would literally never talk and just listen. And all of a sudden, when you're getting whatever it was 300-400 people in your store,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, I have to talk to these people. I can't just stand here and stare at you because then they're going,
What's with this
like,
big
what's with this
weird
guy?
kid?
Yeah. Plus, you wanted to make money too. I was watching
Yeah.
everybody else make money, and I'm like, well, I guess I should open my mouth if I want
Yeah.
to make money. And
Yeah.
then it got me out of that, and now I'm probably sometimes probably can't shut me up.
Immersion once again, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Just being comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
yeah.
Yeah.
You force yourself to do it, and here you are on a microphone, my
Yeah,
friend.
now it's fun.
There you
Beer
go.
festivals are fun. We
Yeah.
can sit here and do this, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
shoot the
If
shit
you
with
ever
the
come to
best.
our booth at a beer festival, I apologize. All we do is crack jokes and make fun of people all day long.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And then
much what we do.
your dad's a quiet guy too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Naturally.
a big dude, and it's usually it's kind of funny. I'm bullshitting with you guys, and he's just back there like he looks
Yeah.
like Secret Service. Like
He's our
like, just
bodyguard.
we get it all the time. He just does like a shrug or does a nod. It's a very Scandinavian thing too. And
Yeah. So all right, so you guys moved from Alaska, or you got all right. Let's do a brewery, right? Because you guys are home brewing.
Yeah,
right?
we did. So we had a lot of really great homebrew recipes that have evolved into some of our solid taps that we do every day. Like Eric's Ale is one of them. Winnie's Revenge was one that we did way back in the day. A lot of our IPA one-offs are recipes that Ryan has in his book from
the Hellas
forever
and
ago.
Dead Porter Society.
Hellas,
too.
Dead
Oh,
Porter, like all those were actual all grain recipes we did in a garage before we did it in an actual brewery.
Nice.
It's kind of cool.
Honing in those recipes in a little
Yeah.
bit. Did you guys have the normal like first batch was shit, but you forced yourself to drink it?
I don't
Especially,
know. I don't know. I
That
think
very first one you did it with that was a
Yeah.
beer kit though, not all grain.
yeah,
Okay,
I did an
yeah.
extract kit that was 3.5 gallons. It was
That was
horrible.
pure
Yeah.
shit.
But yeah. And then I instantly went, well, let's just do all grain. This is better. So
Yeah.
we started doing that. But I think we only did one batch of beer that was crappy. And it's because we took that chocolate stuff out of the tree in the front yard or something.
Carob
Carob
yeah. powder.
We made carob powder out of a carob pods that were in a tree in our front yard.
Yeah, supposedly it tastes like chocolate, and
Yeah.
we were like, okay,
Dude, it was the
was not-
that was
messiest
the worst thing ever.
messiest beer I've ever seen in my life. It
Well, I
was
like that though, right? I feel like that's like kind of foreshadowing where you guys would go, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about the peach beer that's
Yeah.
grown locally here. You
Yeah.
guys have done stuff with Queen Creek Olive Mill, so
Yeah,
you
we
guys
have
are
a-
pulling shit off of trees before you even opened your brewery, man.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with throwing some weird shit in there. Why
Yeah.
not?
I dig it. And Winnie's, we actually covered that in the Arizona Beer Book. That's an Imperial Saison, right?
It's I mean, if we had to put it in a style, I would put it in that style. There's not a lot of aspects of it that are saison like
Okay.
it has a little bit of like that funky flavor to it, but it's honey forward, it's hop forward, like it's got all
you say
kinds of stuff.
farmhouse too, where you get that little bit of funk for it.
Yeah.
But
I like
it's
that beer.
that beer actually has evolved into something very cool because we used to have a hive of bees in our wall behind us. So
In the wall, like not in the tree or
in the-
anything behind them.
in
but
the brick wall. They
Yeah.
were there for like the first year we were open or
Something
something.
like that, yeah.
And then so I bought. I don't, obviously we're in the beer industry, so we don't want to kill the bees because that's bad for the environment. So I bought this bee box and I stuck it on a chair back there and I like stood next to it expecting the bees to just move into the box.
Sure.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So we went back like 3 months later and they were all in the box, and we called a bee wrangler out here. It's called the Arizona Queen Bee, and she relocated them to a farm on it's Ellsworth and I don't know. Is it
North.
Elliott? Yeah, north.
Yeah.
Ellsworth and Ray, or somewhere up to Ellsworth. And
Okay.
she harvests the honey and sells it back to us every year for Winnie's Revenge. So we get
Yeah.
150 pounds of honey for that.
Dang. That's
Every
and
year.
it's that same group of bees.
It started that way. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's evolved into a lot more because they're kind of transient, move around. But
yeah.
So
See, I don't know how that all works.
I don't
know if
either.
Bees as a family.
she
stay
tells us
together.
it's the honey from our bees, and then she charges us extra. I think it's really funny that we buy honey from bees that we gave her.
Yeah. Dude, I think we're all in the wrong business.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll take those bees out of your wall
Yeah.
and we'll sell the honey back to you. Oh yeah. Your bees died years ago. These are
These are brand new bees.
adoptive bees. Yeah. So you guys decide you're going to open up a brewery. The home batches are going well. Why? Because I think you and I don't think we met, but you're at University of Phoenix.
I was
when you kinda started.
after we did the whole jewelry thing. We came back and got real jobs. Ryan actually worked for a water purification company, which kind of feeds right into what he does now.
Yeah.
And I worked for University of Phoenix. So what I did was I went to college for free because I worked there, right?
Yeah.
You remember this.
Yep.
You could take X amount of graduate classes a year and stuff. So I just studied how to open a brewery because that's the only thing I was really interested in. So I got a bachelor's, a master's, certificate, project management. Like I did the whole thing. So I basically had a plan. I just had to put it in motion. And the more I got into it, the more I was like, holy shit, we could make money doing this. Like, this is a good idea. Again, Cheryl, who has kind of steered us through a lot of things, found an ad for, what was it? It was in the Craft Brewers magazine. The
Something like
Arizona
that. It was
Craft
like a
Brewers
homebrew
magazine.
magazine at Brewers Connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was an ad for Queen Creek that said brewing a business in Queen Creek. And so she called and made an appointment for us, for Ryan and I to come down and talk to the Economic Development Committee.
Before she even told you, she just did it.
Before
Like,
she
hey,
even
you guys
told
have an
us. She's
appointment.
like, you guys have an appointment to go talk.
Because there was a banner on the side. It was like a little strip
Yeah.
banner. And it said, something, I think it's on the plaque that they gave us, right?
Brewing
So
a
it
business.
counted QC wants a brewery. And
Yeah.
my mom was like, yeah, you want me to call or send an email? And we were like, yeah, okay, if you want to.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
And she literally said, she's like, you have an appointment on Wednesday night at 3:30 with the
Yeah, we're
Economic
like,
Development
oh, shit.
Committee. We're like, oh my God, what's the name of our brewery? We didn't even know. So we threw together some stuff and came down and talked to, and they've been great. Actually, the town of Queen Creek's been wonderful to work with since we opened. But yeah, they put us in contact with the owner of this building. That was Ron. And I think that you guys walked in when I was trying to write a lease on a napkin with him while we were drinking beer over here, where there used to be a bar. We were drunk. Ron was a farmer from North Dakota. So we hit it off really well.
Sure.
Just started drinking. But yeah.
I'm sure he loved the brewery going into his building too.
Oh yeah. He was, we actually did a big event at his house before we opened.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Couple
we
of them.
brewed a bunch of
Yeah.
beer for him. We had our chef make a bunch of food,
Yeah.
like concept food. And he threw a party for like his closest 60 to 100 people, I think, or
Yeah.
something like
Damn.
that. It was insane. But
And
yeah,
you
we had a
guys
good time.
basically like hosted it, or not hosted, but like catered it to,
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And
With the purpose of showcasing what you guys could do, or was it like, hey, he's like, I need somebody to do this. They brought you guys on for that.
yeah, well, he was having the party anyway, but
Yeah.
we were like, well, why don't we, like, we have beer, because we were still home brewing. So we had beer, and we had contacted a chef and we're working with him on menu development. We're like, why don't we just get all of us together? We'll come throw a party at your house. He's like, yeah, let's do that. So we did it. And I mean, that kind of solidified a lot of stuff for us. Like, he's like, I love the food. The beer's awesome. Like, let's go. Let's do it. So,
Yeah, he used to grow grain for Anheuser-Busch, didn't he? Or
Yeah.
just Busch?
Oh, really?
yeah, he had
For a really long
huge
time.
farm up there.
Here in this?
In North Dakota.
North Dakota. Yeah.
North Dakota,
Okay. So I think it's really cool that, and I tell people this quite often, is like how Queen Creek was seeking a brewery.
Yeah.
They wanted one specifically.
Yeah.
You hear about all these other breweries that are open, and this city is a pain in the ass with this and this and this. And for you
The
guys,
cities are always a pain in the ass.
yeah, even the ones that are great. But that's cool that they were like, why did they want that? Like, what was it? Why did they put the effort in to put an ad into something to?
So, like a hometown brewery is kind of a center focal point for any township. I think if you look at Gilbert, you got Wilderness, right? You look at Chandler, you got Santan. Like,
Yeah.
Queen Creek has, I wouldn't put us quite in the same category as them, but we're the hometown brewery of Queen Creek. Obviously, we're not that big, but I think that they can identify that it creates kind of an identity for the community. And then also there's a lot of revenue that goes, like sales tax revenue, employment. Like, we have a staff of probably about 42 people.
Okay.
That's a lot of people
for sure.
and like, we hire high school kids for busing and hosting and stuff like that. And plus we work with the local farms. Like, we work with Grain R&D. We buy grain from them.
Yeah.
We work with Schnepp. We work with Olive Mill. Like, we're definitely part of the community. I think that's what they were looking for.
I dig that. Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
And
We
did you guys-
donate to the high school for the boosters. Like, we do all kinds of stuff. We love Queen Creek.
100%.
which is an interesting thing too, right? I can't imagine back in my high school days, like our football pep rally being sponsored by Yingling or something.
Right.
That
That'd be
pretty
cool.
badass.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool as shit.
But I think that's what breweries bring to the table. That's different. It's not a drunk fest culture. It's not let's do shots and it's family, it's community.
Yep.
So it makes sense why Queen Creek was like, hey,
Heck yeah.
we want you guys here. Did you guys have to compete with anybody? Did you guys have a brew off or anything?
No. It was funny. The very first article that came out about us said that we were the very first brewery in Queen Creek. And we're like, well, that's not really true. I mean, there's Uncle Bear's, right? And then what was that other guy? It was Al's Orchard.
Yeah.
Al's Orchard
Oh,
was out here on like a county island. So it was like, we're the first like full concept to hit
Sure.
here, I think. But yeah, except for Uncle Bear's. Uncle Bear's is right next door. So yeah.
And they brew at that one, or is it just the tap room?
No, they
That's
don't
just a
brew
tap room.
there. That's
Okay.
just a restaurant. But yeah.
Yeah. So you guys decide, you find the place, you decide you're going to open up with your business plan, going through the prestigious University of Phoenix that we both graduated
Yeah.
from.
Which is not easy, by the way.
It is not. No,
People talk shit about it, but fighting phoenixes.
Yeah. I tell people that same thing. And obviously we advise students all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, people say, I'm like, dude, and I was on the reentry team. So these people had done classes. I'm like, was it easy? And I go, well, no. I'm like, well, then who cares what these people say? Like,
Yeah.
this shit's hard.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be self-motivated. And, so I joke about that. But through your whole adventure of kind of gathering all your information for this, was the food part of it a piece of that as well?
So no, we
Okay.
never wanted a restaurant. Like, our initial idea was Ryan and me in like a 2,000 square foot brewery serving off of 12 taps and just talking to people all day long about beer. Like, that was our whole kind of thing. But this spot came available and it had a full kitchen, and we clicked really well with Ron. Like I said, Ron and Carla, and the rest is kind of just history. So it just evolved into the machine it is now. So we have the food and the beer.
But to me, it kind of, I don't want to say it's surprising, but it's like your guys' food is fucking fantastic. Like, it's top notch. So for you guys to not have the experience, it's not like, like it's incredible, man.
I've never worked in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
Ryan's never worked in a restaurant, but we
Pretty good at eating, though.
Yeah, very good at eating.
Pretty good at that.
We taste something.
Yeah.
We have strong opinions. So if we don't like it, we'll tell you.
That's good though, right? Like we talked about. That
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I mean, this is your guys' brand that's behind all of this, right?
Yeah.
So if you just say, oh yeah, it's fine, and
No.
it's garbage, like
It's not
that's
fine.
a reflection on you. So how do you start building a menu then? How do you guys decide like what you're gonna? Is it just after a couple beers when like, dude, let's do freaking Irish egg rolls.
Yeah.
Like
So
that.
yeah, which we had for a long time.
Those were great, man.
They
Yeah.
were. We should bring those back. So we had specific things that we wanted on the menu, like the pick your poutine, because we drove to Alaska every year.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time traveling through Canada back and forth. So I fell in love with poutine. Chris likes it. Ryan was like, okay, whatever. But then we had the idea of the pick your poutine where you can kind of build it. So pick your tots or fries and then whatever you want on top of it.
Yeah.
So it would be something that we had. And then also we had a chef early on that helped us with menu development quite a bit.
Yeah. And so it was a combination of like with that chef, because it's interesting when we do these interviews with restaurants, is sometimes it's the chef that brings these menus, right? Sometimes it's people that just open a restaurant, and Cisco or Shamrock are the ones that help develop their. So it was a combination of what you guys like to see, and then what the chef was like, all right, we need a mix of this, and this.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. And there's things that we still fight with, like the pick your poutine specifically is not an easy thing for the kitchen to do because everyone is different.
Sure.
So every time I talk to Jen, she's like, can we just do 3 poutines? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I love this thing. It's like, so.
Well, if you guys do that, make sure that it's the one that I like.
You like.
I can't remember exactly what it is. If I saw the menu, I think it's pork with, is there like a white cheese sauce or something like that? Yeah. And like pickled jalapenos.
Carnitos, jalapenos. Yeah. Well, we're not doing that. We'll keep it picked.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
A real quick reminder, head over to atasteofaz.com and subscribe to our email newsletter. Also, subscribe to A Taste of AZ magazine and get it shipped right to your door. Now let's get back into today's episode.
All right, well, we're back. We just threw in an order for make your own poutine.
Heck yeah.
I didn't. I hope that, hopefully that's one of the things Luke's shooting.
I don't think he's doing poutine.
He's got buttons over there, I see.
Buttons. You can eat any of that food you want.
Shit, man. So, well, yeah, shout out to you guys for jumping on board with, first of all, thank you guys for always being great supporters of us.
For sure.
From day one, man, like whether it was Tap That AZ or now with the Taste of AZ, appreciate you guys.
And we're looking forward to being a part of the festival this year too. That's going to be cool.
Gonna be at the festival. Pumped. Yeah. Yep. You guys are going to be in the book, our new, must visit restaurants book. Very excited about that. But yeah, let's talk about the festival for a second.
Yeah.
You guys out, what you're bringing?
Well, we're bringing beer.
Okay. Nice.
But we have some ideas for some things. Actually, those buttons may make it on there. Those Bayou buttons. So we have a couple ideas of things we're going to bring.
No, I'm just kidding.
And we're back.
And we're back. You want to do the Sweet Soul Sounds thing again?
Yeah, I think we should. So, yes, you guys are going to be at the festival. Beer.
We're bringing beer.
Okay.
We have a couple ideas for that. Maybe this peach beer. I don't know if it's going to last that long. But
nice.
Also, we're going to have 2 flat tops. We're going to be making some things that are on the menu, and we might have, like 1 or 2 things that are on the menu and maybe 1 thing that's off menu. So we're going to try some different stuff.
Nice.
Based on our conversation, So
I dig it. What are the buttons?
It's called a Bayou button, so it has kind of a Cajun influence. It's like a Cajun stuffing inside of a mushroom cap, and then it has like this really amazing sauce. Like if you come in and get like a pull bread or a pretzel, you should get the sauce on the side too. Because
what is the sauce?
Bayou button sauce. It's like a tomato based cream sauce, so spicy and it's good stuff.
I'm a sucker for sauces, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
that one's good.
My mouth's watering right now.
Yeah, I didn't eat today for a reason.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna kill that.
I
shit.
hope you're hungry.
Yeah. Excited for you guys to be at the festival. Excited for you guys to be in the book. I'm excited to get you guys back on the podcast. Like I said, I know it's been a while. I'd love to see you guys continue to grow. And I like the like you said, you guys don't distribute, right? Like you don't have your beers on tap anywhere else except for here, right?
Yeah, we have a couple small accounts. Like we do a beer with the olive mill. That we use the Kalamata olive leaf to make a tea and then put it into a wheat beer.
Oh,
so we have that there and we have that here. And then we do a couple tap rooms just locally, like people that we know, but we don't really distribute hardcore. Yeah.
So are those types of places, are there ones that they're like, hey, we need another keg, we're going to stop by and grab one?
Usually it's, one of our regulars owns a tap room. So He just picks it up whenever he's here. He's like, I'm gonna take this to the tap room. All right, cool.
Yeah.
See you later.
Nice.
So yeah.
And is that the plan? Is that the plan kind of to stick with that? Do you guys have a plan to expand beyond that? Or
I mean, everybody's dream is to have a production facility and just can beer and
yeah.
put beer in kegs and go from there. And we've got some stuff in the works. I mean, but it's still planning phases. Like we don't have any dates or anything. So
yeah. We got the Cano Canner. Shout out to Cano.
Those guys are awesome.
Yes.
If anybody needs a economical way to put beer in a can, that's the way to go for sure.
You guys use that often?
When we do.
Yeah.
When we do, it's
When we do, it's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a lot. Yeah, we put it through the paces.
Yeah. It's a great machine. Stores very easily.
Yep.
It's efficient. I think it's up and running, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's consistent. Like Ryan's got it dialed in where he knows exactly what's happening, thanks to like the training that we got from, the guys when they brought it down.
Yeah.
Marshall
and Andrew. Yeah.
Andrew. Yeah.
Yep. And I help them with a little bit of sales and marketing too. So yeah, if you guys are listening to this, watching this, hit me up for a Cano machine. So what are some of your, so we talked about Winnie's and you guys had mentioned a couple of the Dead Porter. That's a great beer. I love that. I don't know if I told you guys, but I haven't drank since February.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Like
Is that why you lost so much weight?
I didn't lose shit, man, because I replaced it with fucking milkshakes and cheesecake, dude.
Jesus.
No, I mean, it wasn't even on purpose. It was just kind of it happened. Like a few things just kind of was like, all right, I was sick. And so I didn't drink for like a couple of weeks. And then I was like, I'm going to try for a month. And then a month. So it's just, now I feel good. Like all these things that I was trying to do that, I just didn't have the energy or whatever. But before I stopped drinking, Dead Porter was one of my favorite dark beers, man. That beer is fantastic. A lot of your guys' beers. I love your guys' beers. So what are some of the flagships that you guys, if someone comes down here, like what are they always going to see?
Legends
Legends
Never Die.
Legends.
It's our just regular hazy IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, use like 4 different hops, dry hopped, it's typical flair. And then we did a Nordy Light, which is our light lager.
Named after Norton's Corner.
Yeah, which is right next door.
Okay.
I tried to catch that like Natty Light, so we call it Nordy Light because they closed, and it's that old kind of country dive bar. So I was trying to kind of mix that too, and
I like
that's what COVID allowed me to do was start to get into lagers, and because we had enough time, because during that time nobody knew what the hell we were going to do, and what was going on. So I'm like, cool, let's just brew that and let it sit and see what happens. And I think I did a 7-barrel batch of that, and it was gone in almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Like,
okay. We got something here.
It's one of those like good problems things. So now
and that Nordy Light has blue corn in it, right? From Grain R&D.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
So
you guys use them a lot.
Yep.
Right.
Almost, I think in every beer now.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
If not starting to use more Sinagua too. I think just this batch of Legends and then that peach one too. I use their 2-row and Grain R&Ds, both of them in that. So I'm starting to incorporate sort of like Wilderness does in those guys where it's just all like local grain, especially the Grain R&D. He's 1.5 miles down the road.
Yeah.
And he's building a malting floor too, isn't he? Or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So they're expanding like crazy.
Nice.
But if I accidentally need grain, if I forget, if I'm off a bag or something, I just text Travis. I'm like, hey man, you there? And he's like, yep.
Yeah. Always.
Then you could just drive.
Yeah.
He's like, when do you need it? And I'm like, tomorrow at like 8. He's like, okay. But lucky he lives across the street. So
yeah. That's awesome, man. And so, I mean, do you know that there's all using the local ingredients. There's that aspect to it. Do you see a significant difference in the flavor of it compared to like a?
I do 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys pick it up, but like
I think it has like an added spiciness or like an increase in flavor. I would say, kind of like on some of the base grains and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Over like mass produced stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
especially with the smell too. Like instantly, like I love going to pick it up because Travis always like, I can bring it over, and I'm like, no, I'll come and get it because I just love going in there and smelling and seeing the big like his shoulder he does because he does the Sonoran white wheat too.
Yeah.
And then when Sinagua brings their stuff down, like he backed the truck up with the whole pallet, and I could smell it just backing the truck up. I was because everybody goes on hops and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes the grain is pretty fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
The sorter is amazing. It's like this optical eye that shoots air at different colors of grain and sorts it back and forth. Like it's fucking nuts.
That is crazy.
It's awesome to watch, right?
Yeah, because he can dump in all the different kinds of grain that he does too, not just the barley now, but he still
all
does
comes out sorted.
Einkorn every now and then, all that kind of stuff. He can just dump it all in there and then it sorts it.
Dang. with like a laser eye, or not a laser, but like kind of a.
I
It
think there's
has
a
like
bunch
an
of them.
eye, and it
Yeah.
shoots air at the different colors of grain and pushes them so far, and they fall into different
Dude,
areas.
that's
and
nuts.
it's badass. Yeah,
That seems like something like from like
Star
like-
Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's fucking
sure.
crazy.
Star Wars can't even do that shit, man.
Yeah, I stare at it every time I go in there, and he's explained it to me a few times, and I'm still, just when you see it, because it's, I don't know, 30, 40 feet high.
It's
It's a
huge,
huge
yeah.
building, and just the machine itself, and it goes up. Looks like some Willy Wonka stuff. And
Yeah, I think I've seen that. He's had that for a while.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like yeah, kind of from
this isn't some of their photos that they post and stuff, but when you ask about it, it's like, okay, you run through it and kind of start to go.
I think he
All
likes
right.
it too because he gets to kind of geek out on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So he explains it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, so you got Legends Never Die. That's one of the flagships. You said Nordy Light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Light
What-
lager.
Yep. And I like the fact you're making lagers too. I mean, you've been for a few years now, but
Yeah.
and that's the limitation sometimes is just the amount of space that it, or the time that it takes for them to sit in there. You can turn another beer. You can
Twice.
basically 2 to 1. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we have one bright tank and 2 serving tanks, so we'll do that with Nordy. We'll shoot it into the serving tank, and if I do another, like a different type of like a hoppy lager, or start doing like more West Coast pills, like so we use the one bright tank. We'll push it in there if we're not like dosing another beer with it, or I'll use the kegs as a tertiary since we don't have lagering tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll throw them in the keg, and then we'll let it sit in there for about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then see how it goes from there. And
Okay. Yeah. What is a West Coast Pills? Is that you say a West
pretty
Coast?
sure, yeah, like a West Coast pills. So
Yeah.
5% or 4.5 to 5.5%, and it's kind of hoppy, like the aroma and flavor of like West Coast new school hops.
Yeah.
So you can use like Nectaron, all the ones from New Zealand, Australia,
Okay.
like even some of the older school ones where it's more dank, but you just get that nice West Coast expressive hops and easy drinking beer.
Yeah.
So you can drink a shit ton of them if you want, because a lot of those West Coast IPAs are 7.5,
I
6,
love-
8, and which I love that, but
Yeah.
I love listening to Ryan talk about hops or grain or anything like that. He's like a fucking encyclopedia of hops. This
Yeah.
guy.
yeah, sometimes
Like,
I feel
or-
like I go too much, and I'm like, you see people's
Or
face
beer. Like, do you remember when he talked about that one label on that beer from the East Coast that had poop stains on it? Like, this guy's an encyclopedia. He doesn't forget anything.
Like I even know where beer's at. Like if you go to Beer Barn or Sleeper or tap rooms, I'm like, and they'll be like, "Well, what beer would you get this?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, dude, second cooler. It's probably middle shelf, probably your weight height." I was like,
And
"On
you're
me,
just
it's
on
a
the
little
phone
lower."
with them. Like
Yeah.
you're not even there. You just
Yeah.
know.
Or on the text, I'd be like, "So I do it with Zach, our GM."
Yeah.
He's like, "Where'd you get it?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this row, second from the right, next
you-
to this one."
If you travel to any city, just call Ryan and be like, what breweries can I not miss? And he'll literally send you a list of 12 breweries.
Is that what you seek out first? Is it breweries or food?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was always me too.
Food's secondary. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of what's around there, but usually it's 100% beer first, and
Yeah.
especially if we stay for the night. Like we've done a ton of road trips back to Michigan, and wherever we get a hotel, I'm looking up. It has to be within like 2 miles of a brewery or
Yeah.
some kind of like, unless you're in Terre Haute, Indiana. Like when we brought a truck back, it was that Sunday at 9, and I was like, no, there's just there's a Logan's and then an Applebee's.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Sweet.
fuck, I guess we're going to Applebee's. And
But I'm sure they had at least something, right? Something local.
yeah,
Yeah.
I seen Yingling on tap, and I got
Yeah.
excited, and I smacked my dad. I was like, oh, they got Yingling, and the lady goes to pour it, and a little dribble came out, and I was like, fuck.
They
it's
ran
in.
out.
So she's like,
Guess
hold
we'll go
on,
to
I
Lone
need to
Star.
change the keg. And she came back out and she's like, oh, I guess we're out of kegs because, until tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll have a Miller Lite.
Ah, geez. They didn't even have bottles. Usually they
No.
have bottles as a backup or
Yeah, I
something.
asked. And
Yeah.
she was like, no. I was like, okay, cool,
Crazy.
whatever. Just Miller Lite. That's fine.
I like the fact that he rememred that one specifically so well. Right?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
one time that I didn't get the
Stupid.
Terre Haute, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Terre Haute. That's great though, man, because I would do the same thing. I mean, it was, for me now it's a little bit different, right? I'm looking for like a coffee shop or something like
Yeah.
that. I love going to thrift stores now. Shit, it's
Thrift
amazing
stores.
the things that I do now that like my life is not like a,
Revolving
yeah, I mean,
around the
it was-
beer.
It was a great time in my life, but now I'm 46 years old and I'm
Slowing
going
down.
to coffee
That's
shops
okay.
and fucking thrift stores, man.
Take it.
Well,
Take
food
it.
style, like I do that too with food. Like when we went to Vegas with Hillary and stuff, I took you guys to that Evil Pie.
Oh, yeah.
It was off of Fremont. Just 'cause
Dope spot.
every March I go to the Mint 400. It's an off-road race.
Yeah.
And it's on the newer side where they have like a huge container ship thing, and there's some like bunch of places to drink and stuff there, and it's like a dive bar, but it's a pizza shop. You can get it by the slice. It's
Evil
New York
Pie.
style,
Yeah.
but it's
Dope
off of
pizza.
Evil Knievel.
Yeah.
But they have punk stuff, and they call your name out on an old micro, like Burger King style, and you can give them whatever name you want. So we'd be like Batman. They're like, pizza for Batman. And you're like, this is cool, and it's super diving. You can get, I forget, in Vegas there, you can get a beer and like walk down the street with it.
That's right. Yeah.
But I took them there in the daytime, and we went outside to walk it, and I'm like, this is a little. I was like, my
boring
bad,
in the
guys.
day.
Like this is a little different in the daytime. Sketchy.
Fremont Street during the day is not a good place to hang out.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Mark that on your Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Daylight only. So all right. So what's in the forefront for you guys in the next year or two? Like obviously I know you said production facility is
It's
the
always
goal
on our mind. Yeah. Always on our mind.
Well, what about more shorter term? Like what are you guys looking to get accomplished in the next year or so?
I mean, just getting back to beer, we're gonna start doing some weirder shit. Like we still have our staples are constant. So like the peachy coolero that's gonna come out, which if you say it really fast is a really funny word. Peachy coolero.
Peachy coolero.
Yeah.
With an
Peachy.
accent too.
Yeah.
Peachy coolero.
Am I
Okay,
missing
well,
something?
that's fine. But yeah,
People will laugh when they hear it, especially
People
when you
will
say
laugh.
it slower.
yeah.
Well, have you ever played? There's a game that you would do that. Like you would read different words.
Oh yeah.
And it was, but as you're saying them, you don't get it. So I'll listen to
Got
this
to
later
know.
and be like,
Yeah, you'd be like, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so we're gonna do some things like that. We have are we doing the OCP beer? We're doing that this year.
Oh yeah, I'll probably have to do that in a
We're
couple
bringing
weeks
back
for
some
Thanksgiving.
really cool old beers that we haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
Ryan actually won an award with that beer. It's an oatmeal cream pie amber.
oh no shit.
Yeah, it's an
pretty
amber
fucking
base with
amazing.
make it kind of taste like a oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah.
Use marshmallow
OCP.
fluff. I think we put rum barrel chips.
Yep.
For the rum, cinnamon, nutmeg, and something else.
Buckets of marshmallow fluff.
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
dude. We're talking buckets.
And a amber too.
Yeah.
Right. That's something typically you would see like with a stout or porter or something, right?
Yeah.
So I like that.
Makes
Yeah,
it a
because it gives it
little-
more of that. That's where you kind of get that graham cracker from.
Yeah.
So it's like a lighter brown ale too, because probably you'll see it on a brown ale also. But
Yeah.
we just wanted to make the beer a little lighter because it's easier to drink too. We don't want to make it like a sugar bomb
Sure.
Yeah.
or like a stout or a porter where you're gonna drink one and be like,
I don't know if I
can't
can
finish my
drink more than
poutine.
one.
Yeah.
Can't finish my poutine.
I've never said that in my whole life.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
actually, that's so. I was just thinking, like, I love when you get some flavors in some beers that are not typically like coffee kolsch.
Yeah.
Right? Do they make that anymore?
I don't know if
I
it's
just-
still
I just
out
was
there.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, see, I haven't
Coffee
seen that
Cola is guaranteed to fuck up the line that it's on.
one. Really? Oh,
It'll taste like coffee
yeah,
for days.
yeah, that's true. Do you have an oatmeal cream pie line specifically so that
No.
it's
No, we just clean it.
yeah?
We just clean
the line.
Good.
Clean
Well, we did one
lines,
where
save
for the
lives.
Oktoberfest for the Martin because we did so I have 2 half barrel kegs that
Oh yeah, we did that.
bottom comes out and there's a guy made me a giant filter around it so we can use it as an infuser.
Yeah.
So we did we got pumpkin puree or the actual like pumpkin stuff and
Got roasted pumpkins, put some spices on it, threw it in one, and then you had that pumpkin cold brew or whatever.
yeah, and then there was like a pumpkin spice coffee that we made a cold brew out of it and then put that on top of that also and did both of those for the Oktoberfest that we just
Yeah,
did.
it was really good. We don't have any left.
Yeah.
So you can't try it, but it was very good.
There's certain things here today that we're talking about that I might end my February drinking since February streak today. I'm just kidding. I won't,
It's
but
okay.
It's
Don't do
tempting. I'll
Tempting.
fill up on the poutine.
That's fine.
But guys, thanks again. Thanks for always, like I said, being supportive, being just awesome dudes and ladies. Shout out to your team here. Always just we love you guys. So thank you for joining the podcast and keep kicking ass, man.
Heck yeah. Thank you. And I know that you always have exciting things coming out, new things. You
Yeah,
get
trying.
going from like a podcast to a book or a magazine. Now you got a book and now you
Yeah.
got your own festival. Like you guys are kicking ass too. you
Thanks,
know?
man. Yeah,
That's awesome. We
kinda
love to see
surreal.
that. We love to see that.
yeah, I appreciate it. And like you guys, it's like you are like, what the fuck is wrong with me sometimes, right? Like dude, like this, we're already stretched thin and now we want to do a festival. And then
Yeah.
the festival goes well and you're like, okay, shit, I guess we're doing a festival now. And
Yeah. Don't talk to us in February.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that comes right
Fucking
after.
beer 3 weeks.
Oh shit, yeah.
We run around like crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody come down to Old Ellsworth, get some food, get some beers, and thanks again, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.